Hello, my fellow introverts. Stacy here, your programming and test automation expert. So last week we were talking about Python logging, which we're going to do today. But last week we have taken a look at the basic logs configuration in Python. So if you haven't seen the video, then check this link. And today we're going to talk about more advanced cases. In particular, we're going to create our custom loggers. And we're going to get very colorful, and I will show you how to color your logs so that they are not that boring and black and white. But before we continue, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. So now let's get on with it. Today we're starting with a very basic log configuration. So we have import logging as log, just for simplicity, and we have a basic configuration which sets the log level to debug. This is done just to be able to see all of those messages which are placed here. If you don't know what a log level is and you want to learn more, please check out our last week's video. But anyway, this is done just to see all of those messages. And if we run it, let's run it. As you can see, we have all of those messages printed out. So these are these ones, and all of them are in a single color. So for some reason in PyCharm it's being shown as red. I really don't like it. I'm struggling with it. So if anyone knows how to change it, then please leave a comment under the video. It would be very, very helpful if we can solve it. But I will take a look myself because this is quite an annoying issue. But anyway, if you run it in the terminal, so let's do so. Let's run Python logs usage. You will see that they're actually in white. So this is a normal color, and in terminal it's worth checking. What we're going to do first, we are going to apply some colors for those logs. We can just do it for any of those messages. It doesn't matter which level we're using. I'm just going to show you how it's done first. So in order to set the colors in the console, we have to use specific codes. So I have created a file which is called colorspy. You can check it out in our repo. And these are the NC colors. These are special codes which define which color are you going to use when you print out this message. It can be a print, it can be a log, anything, but we're going to use it inside of the logs. So the usage is going to be very simple. So let's import those colors first. So we're going to do from colors import. I am going to import everything. Please don't do so, but in the repository, you're going to see a normal version where we're not doing import all, but just now, just to save ourselves some time, we will just import all. And now let's color the first message. So we will just put some color here, and let's color it yellow. Just like that. This should color our message. Let's run it. And as you can see, we have yellow color, but it colored everything. So actually it works this way, that it starts coloring, and when you set the color in the console, it will just color everything that happens afterwards. So there is actually, I don't know if you have noticed, in this colors.py, there is a reset. So if we do a reset after our message, so let's do a reset, then it should fix the situation. And here we go. We have yellow for only this message. So you get the idea. We can actually color different logs this way, and this is a perfect solution if you want to color just one single log. But for coloring different levels, for example, you would have to do something more complicated, and this is what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create our custom logger class, which is going to color each level differently. So for example, our debug is going to be green, our info is going to be blue, warning is going to be yellow, error is going to be red, and critical is going to be bold red. So in order to do so, because I have done it before, like a couple of years ago, and I don't remember how exactly we did it, and I started Googling for this, and let me show you what I found. So if we look at the browser, we will be able to see that there are multiple different options on how to color the logs, but the most popular one is this one. You create a class, you actually inherit it from login formatter, you set your colors just the way we did before, and then you do something like this. So it's a bit complicated, but you would overwrite the format method from formatter, and inside, for each record, for each log that you're going to write, you're actually creating a new formatter, not this one, just a new formatter, and you're formatting the record. And then in your instantiation of the logger, you have to actually set up the get logger and everything we did before. And you create a stream handler, you set the level, of course, and then you set the formatter for this stream handler. And this way you're going to be able to color your logs if you add this handler to the logger. So what actually, well, this is like a most popular idea, so as far as I have read everywhere in the internet, and some people say that this is the only one that actually works in Python 3.6, I believe, and so on. So why I personally don't like this solution? I checked it, and each time when you write a log message, so when you do something like logger.debug or logger.info or anything else, this format is going to be called, and that's okay, but you are going to create a new object of the formatter. Probably, I don't know, I'm not sure, but probably it's being cleaned up in the logger, but I don't like the idea that we create a new object each time that we actually do some logging. So I've read a little bit about logging, I've read some source code of Logger, and I came up with another solution. So this is only a proposition. I will put this Stack Overflow thread in the description so that you can also use this one if you wish, but we're going to take a look at a bit different solution today. So let's try it out. To do that, we first of all need to create a new class. So I've created a file which is called custom logger, and here we're going to implement our class. And compared with the solution that I have shown you, they are creating a formatter, but we are going to inherit our class directly from the logging.logger. So let's go ahead and do so. So we will import logging. We will do class custom logger, and we're going to inherit it from logging.logger. So now we need to somehow color our levels. So I've been looking a lot on this topic, so I've been trying to do it in different ways, but I find that the most efficient and most simple and descriptive way is going to be to override the debug, the info, the warning, the error, the critical, everything that we're going to use in our application. All of those methods are going to be overwritten, and we're going to set some colors for them. So in order to do so, we would need to basically do something like this, def debug. No, I don't want these guys. No, we just want self. We want the same stuff that are actually inside of logger. So we can actually go here, do debug, and copy this thing. Just like that. So now we have to do basically the same thing that was done in the logger. To do so, it's simple. You can just call super, just like this. And we will do debug, of course, because we want to call the debug from our parent. And we want to modify our message so it's colorful, but we still want to call the debug and pass the message to it. So let's go ahead and just create a new variable, which would be called, let's say, colored message. Just keep it like this for now. We will, of course, color it in a moment. And instead of setting message here, we will put the colored message, then we will put the args and the keyword args, just like that. Okay, so now we have to do the coloring. To do the coloring, you have to define the basically the colors. So we have to actually import our colors here as well. So let me do so. I will just copy it from somewhere because we don't want to write it again. So just like that. And let's say we want to color our log to green for debug. So just simple string formatting again. So we will do something like that. Green and message here, just like that. Okay, are we good? Actually not. We can of course use the logger, but remember that this is our custom logger, so we have to actually configure it so it doesn't have the debug log level, it doesn't have any formatting set up, so we have to actually set it up somehow. So what we're going to do is we're going to define an init here. We are going to accept the name of the log because we want to pass in the name when we create an object of custom logger. And we are going to call super, of course, pass the name here. And now, if we go to the logger again and see what is happening in our parent, then you can see there are multiple different instance attributes which are defined here. For example, the name is being passed through the instance creation, and we have different other ones. We have handlers, which are going to interest us, and we have the level, but level is actually configured a bit differently. So just watch what we're going to do. This will work, and well, it took me some time to understand how it actually was configured, but this way will work for you. So we will start with the formatting. What we're going to do now, we're going to set up the formatting using logger formatter. Then we're going to create a stream handler because we want to write to console. If you would want to write to a file, then you would create a file handler. But we want a stream handler because we're writing to the console. Then we will set up the formatter for this string handler. Then we will set the level because we actually need the level to be set to debug because we will not see the debug messages if we don't do that. Last thing that you will have to do is to add the handler to the handlers list. If we go back to the logger and see the init, here are the handlers, so we will have to just append the handler there. So let's go ahead and first of all add our formatter. So we will go back to our init and do formatter equals logging.formatter. As you can see, we are also creating a formatter here, but we are not doing it for each log as was suggested in the other solutions that I have shown you previously. I find this solution more optimized, so this is why I'm doing it this way. So anyway, we have our formatter, we have to specify the format. I will just go ahead and copy it because this is quite a long string. So let's just do it like that. Let's say that we want it this way. And now we have to create the stream handler. So let's go ahead and do so. Let's call it as handler, let's say like this. And we are going to use logging stream handler. Now we have to set our formatter to this stream handler. So let's do so. As handler dot set formatter. Okay. Last thing for the handler, we have to specify the log level. So let's do so. As handler set level logging dot debug. Okay, we're almost done with the initiation. And now remember about the handlers. So we have to actually append the handler that we created, so this guy, to our logger handlers. So just self handlers dot append, just like that. And we're passing our handler here. Okay, so we're mostly done. Now what we need to do, we actually have to copy the debug and make other methods available for our logger. So we don't want only the debug, but we also want info. So let's do like this, info and info here. We'll copy this guy and we will do. Okay, and of course, we don't want all of those guys to be green. We want to have different colors for them. So we can actually use the colors that I have defined before. So let's say that info is blue, warning is yellow, the error is going to be red, and this one is going to be bold red, so with bold big letters. Okay, as you can see, it's quite a lot of similar code here, but this is pretty cool because if you want to, you can actually add some stuff to all of them. So for example, if you're writing a warning, then you could add an emoji, for example, with this yellow triangle, or I don't know, if for a debug, you can add a smiley or something like this. I will show you in a moment what we can do with this, but let's check it out if it actually works. So what we have to do, we will go back to our logs usage, and here, instead of using just the logging, we are going to use our custom logger. So let's go ahead and import it. So we will do import custom logger, and now, instead of using the log, we will create an instance of our custom logger. We don't need this guy anymore, so we will do just log equals custom logger, and we will need to provide a name. So let's call it some kind of my app. Let's remove the yellow from here because we actually have it defined already. Okay. And yeah, we don't need the colors anymore. So let's go ahead and run it and see if we spoiled something. Okay, seems like it works. So let's see, and ta-da, looks very nice. Although we forgot one thing. You see, it's very colorful and stuff, but there is one issue. If you remember, I said about the reset. So we have to actually reset the color. Otherwise, you will have something like this, that you will start the debug message in green, then it will continue in green until it reaches the message for the info. Then it will be blue just before we have a warning. So in order to fix that, we will just need to do a reset for all of them. So let's just quickly edit and see if it will work. So I will just copy paste it everywhere. Okay. Okay. And if we run it again, and here we go, we have it. So this is how you configure colors, but let's also add a very nice little touch to our critical message. So if we go to the critical part here, let's say that we want an image. So I actually have a critical message txt here. So this is a very special file which we're going to use now for our critical message. We're going to go ahead and we're going to open the file. So with open critical message sf. Okay. And we are going to do critical message variable equals f log.read. Okay, and we have our message, and we can add it at the very end of our log, just like that. So let's run it again. Here you will not see the text that I'm typing right now because it's quite small, but let's run it. I just really want to show you the results. So yeah, we will need the logs usage. Yeah, just like that. And here we go. If you don't know what the image is, you can take a look at the file, or you can try other ways of doing so, but this is fine image, which I thought is very feasible for our logs for critical messages. So I think this is going to be very cool if you display something like that. So one thing we could actually fix here is that it should be red, and I will put the reset at the very end so that it's also flaming red. So let's run it and see how it looks like. Okay, now I'm satisfied. So while looking for some solutions on how to color the logs, I have found a very cool library, which you can also use with Logger, but it also provides you with different ways of printing, logging, and you don't need any other modules or libraries for that. So the library is called Rich. You can install it via pip install, just the regular way, and it's quite well updated. So as you can see, 2 weeks ago we had a commit here. It's an MIT license, so you can use it in your projects. And let me show you, it's like there is a lot of capabilities here, so it can do really a lot of stuff. You can color the text, you can add some symbols, you can add some emojis, you can format and style the text differently. I will show you one very cool feature of it in a moment. But anyway, highly recommended. And if you don't want to use Python Logger for some reason, then you can use just, for example, print from Rich. And this way you will be able to already format it. Let's see how it looks like. It would be much better. So we will have this word, which is not colored, then we have world, which is colored with magenta, then we have our vampire, and these are the locals. As you can see, it's very cool. It formats the dictionaries. So let me quickly show you how you can use it with Python Logger. So if we go back to our editor, I just copied the custom logger that we just created, just this guy. I did a class which also inherits from login logger, so just copy paste from custom logger. And instead of creating a stream handler, I've imported the rich library, the rich handler from it, and I used the rich handler. And now if we do the same steps, if we do set formatter, set level, and we append the rich handler, then we can format with the rich library capabilities. I actually went ahead and I used a very cool feature from it. I added a new method to our debug info and other handlers for logging. And I did it this way that I just want to write some JSON information. Let's say we're receiving a response, and always when we have a debug mode, we want to write a response for each request that we do in debug mode. And we want just the response is always JSON, so we know it, and we just want to write it down in our logs. So to do that, I'm calling the debug, the one that we have here. And what I'm actually doing is I'm using the JSON from rich JSON, and I'm just getting the text from it just to write it down. And the rest of it is the same, like for regular stuff, like for regular debug or info or something like that. And what we're going to do now, we're going to create an instance of rich logger. So let's copy this guy, go to our logs usage. We will do, rich logger. Let's import it. We can just do from custom logger. Yeah, just like that. So we will do rich log equals rich logger. I believe we need a name. Yes. So we will pass the name. And now we can do the same things, but we will do not a debug message, but let's create some dictionary. So my awesome dictionary nested stuff here one, let's say like this, and we want to use our JSON here. Rich log JSON, just like that. So let's run it and see what happens. Of course, naturally, if we expect that this is a JSON, then we have to have it as a JSON. So let's import JSON. So we would do import JSON, and we will cast it to a JSON. Dumps. Okay. Let's run it again. As you can see, it was formatted already, and we can go to the terminal. So let's go to the terminal, and I will show you that it's actually being colored as well. Yeah. Here you can see that the colors are being set. So this is pretty cool. By the way, very important remark, if you are making some experiments with the logs, please check it in different consoles, because different consoles might treat the colors differently, and sometimes you will not see any colors at all, but in some consoles you will see it fully colorful, as we can see here. So this is quite important, just an important thing to consider. So there are multiple ways of configuring colors for the logging, for your logs. You might not even need the logger at all sometimes to color it, but of course I'm encouraging to use some kind of logger for your application. So you can specify colors for different levels, you can specify colors for different messages if you want to. For example, if you want to highlight this particular message, it's very easy to do. To color the stuff, you use the ANSI codes. There is a link in the description. If you want to be crazy about it, you can use the Rich library. I believe there are multiple other libraries as well available on the market, but Rich really impressed me, so I think this is a very cool library to use. And just remember that to create your custom logger, you might use the way that Stack Overflow and multiple articles over the internet are proposing. You can use the way that I shown you today. It's up to you, whatever you pick. And just remember that you have to create a handler, and this handler has to be given to your custom logger class. This is the crucial thing that you have to do, because otherwise you will not be able to configure it properly. So this is all I have for today. Next week, I think we will have another video about logging, but we'll see. So I wish you a very, very happy coding, and I will see you in 1 week.